Hello, everybody. How are you? How is your how are your last days of summer? What are you doing during your last days and before the start of the academic year? What plans do you have? Share with me. Hello, everybody. Share with me. Oh, hello, Robert. How are you? What about the format of your studying? Um, will you have offline or online or blended studying? Because now that's a very big debate, and nobody knows about the format yet. So that's interesting to know. Do you have the accurate information? Do you have some fixed schedule? Because at my university, I don't have anything. I don't care really about this studying. Maybe I will start studying. I will be ready to start my studying somewhere in the middle of September. Now I wouldn't like to care about that a lot. What about you? For now, we don't know anything. We don't know anything about studying this year. Right, the same. The situation is the same everywhere. That's like nothing special about the what about other students? Okay. Okay, today we may go to the lake with my father. Oh, cool. That's a good one. Okay. So today is our last day of the webinar. Last day. Today is the last webinar of all. I congratulate you on completing some was that? Summertime, right? Summertime. And today is the topic that I was really happy about the storytelling. Let me share the screen with you. Hope you've had fun with me. Just let me. Oh, here. Right. So, storytelling. We are going to look a little bit and to delve a little bit deeper in the discussion about this storytelling, the explicit and vivid example of using the storytelling in enticing and marketing advertising campaign. After that, we are going to understand what the storytelling is, the importance of storytelling, and the power of storytelling. Some techniques to make your story great. Again, we are going to look at the structure and elements of this story. And probably we are going to look at the expert pundit on the storytelling and the power of storytelling in our lives. So the TED Talk speaker. Right. So now we are going to look at the vivid example of storytelling, which is used in the advertisement campaign rather successfully, and is considered to be one of the best examples of the usage of storytelling in the advertisement commercial. So it's a very well-known brand of whiskey and scotch, Johnnie Walker. It's like this brand is oh my god, it's one of the best example of how stories can make an impact on the decisions of people what to buy. When I just watch their commercials, it's a masterpiece. It's like watching some film, watching a story which is behind the bottle on the shelves of the supermarket. So let's have a look at it.
I want this boat. Built in 1928. Designed by the Baglietto Yard, Variazze, Italy. Nothing like it in the world. Rarer than rare. It's not for sale. I want to buy with money. I want to win it. With a dance. With dance. With a dance. Dance. Why did I say I would dance? I don't know how to dance. Why did I say I would dance? What was I thinking? What was I thinking?
Well, let me just pin it up at the front.
It definitely feels too tight on the heel.
Yes. Again, 1, 2, 3, thumb.
In you go.
Oh, this is perfect. Is that a piano? Is that working?
Yeah. It's a very old piano, but it's got a lovely tune, you know. What did you want it for anyway?
A bit of fun.
No. Fun?
Ah, well, let's get on with it then. Hello? I want to buy these books. Built in 1928 by the renowned Baglietto yacht, Varese, Italy. Nothing like it in the world. Rarer than rare. It's not for sale. I don't want to buy it with money. I want to buy it with a story. A story.
Okay. Good. So this piece of commercial is is considered to be number one of how story can change the worldview of people who could buy, right, for potential customers. Right. So following on the video, what's the craziest or the weirdest or the funniest story that has ever happened to you or somebody you know? Can you please share in the chat the craziest, the weirdest, or the funniest story that has happened to you or somebody who you know? Speaking of me, every time I find some funny story, or I just have them loads of them. Because, well, when you don't have anything funny or crazy, there is no point in doing that. I tend to believe like that. And usually when going somewhere, or when I don't know, just having time, having fun with somebody, I try to make it more fun. More fun. I try to make more fun. That's something that gives me energy, gives me good mood, cheers me up. So I try to do that more often. For example, this vacation, I went with my mom and her friend. It's just like a ladies' company, and we made ourselves the funniest vacation ever. And because we were watching a video from a very famous Ukrainian reality TV show, and we were singing, dancing. After that, when we don't have the video, we were dancing, gesturing, miming, and at the seaside, it was so funny. In the sea, everybody was watching, but we were laughing. We were having a great time. I just liked this atmosphere, and we didn't stop laughing throughout the whole during the whole vacation. So it was very funny. I just find a crazy or funny, or even when I can't find, I make these moments. What about you? I'm going to wait a little bit. Nobody's writing. Did anybody didn't have any weird or crazy stories or funny stories in your life? I would like to know about these stories. Carolina, I also to make such stories with my friends. Oh, that's cool. Do you watch me on YouTube? Because I don't have any watches on the platform. If you do so, can you please switch? Can you please switch resources? Oh, that's cool. I also have the very funny stories from school. I even don't remember how much how much we did fun at school. If you do so, if you watch on YouTube, can you please switch the resources and watch from the platform, not from the YouTube? Thanks a lot for understanding. That's cool. Fine. Let's get started and let's know what's so stories have been used to hand down learning and knowledge for thousands of years. A good story engages our curiosity, emotions, and imagination. When you speak to people, stories have a transformative power. It brings the potential to bring about change. It gives the potential to bring about change. The first thing that springs to mind when you think of storytelling is a childhood experience of being told a story, or that you have told the story to a child, doing different voices for every character. We're all familiar with the traditional form of storytelling, such as fairy tales, legends, myths. These oral and written stories continue to evolve as they are retold and brought to life in different forms. But storytelling doesn't just take place within a pool of lamplight in a nursery, for example, like telling a child, or around a campfire. Stories are part of our daily lives. In the anecdotes we tell to our friends, the books we read, and the films we watch. Stories are also recognized as an important way of connecting with any audience, and storytelling is increasingly used in workplaces, advertising, and fundraising. Now, what I told you about the anecdote that you tell to your friends. Anecdote is not a joke. It doesn't mean a joke. Anecdote is a real life story. It doesn't mean joke. Always remember this. Oh, anecdote. Sorry. Is a real life story. It doesn't mean a joke. Be careful with this one. Stories are the way we understand and make sense of the world we find ourselves in. In healthcare, for example, stories are proven to be a useful tool in engagement people with quality improvement work. Telling the story of one patient's experience of care can memorably illustrate improvements or problems in a care pathway. Statistics and data have an important place in monitoring and understanding services and facilitating improvement. But the right story can also have the power to motivate and change minds. Sharing the story of a patient or frontline worker with a board or with a team can quickly and effectively bring a situation to life and focus discussions around quality improvement, and patient experience. For example, at the healthcare system, storytelling helps to communicate in a powerful way the lessons emerging from some of the projects that are funded. Storytelling approaches help us inform debate and discussion, raise awareness of the work of our grantholders and people we work with, as well as help bring key issues to life. They can help us to appeal to hearts as well as minds of people. So storytelling has a powerful influence and has a power to strike a chord with people's minds and hearts. Stories take many forms, but they usually have some elements in common. Rather than a list of dry facts, stories have a narrative or sequence, and they introduce people or characters. We respond to stories, particularly when there is emotional detail, and remember information given in a story from much more vividly. Why is storytelling important? Stories have a transformative power to allow us to see the world in a different way than we do if we just encounter it on our own. Stories are an entry point to understanding a different experience of the world. This aspect of storytelling, presenting a different perspective of the world, is important when it comes to connecting with each other. It gives us an opportunity to learn from another person's experience, and it can shape, strengthen, and challenge our opinions and values. When a story catches our attention and engages us, we are more likely to absorb the message and meaning within it than if the same message was presented simply in facts and figures. When someone tells us their own personal story, we catch a glimpse of a view of the world that may be slightly or radically different from our own. When we see the world as they see it or walk in their shoes, the experience can inspire empathy within them. The word empathy or sympathy is quite important when we speak about stories, because the main objective, the sole objective of telling the story is to raise this sympathy towards people, toward the issue that is highlighted in the story, right? We can relate to an individual much more easily than a group. First-person narratives are helpful in seeing people as individuals rather than as a group, like patients, refugees, or the homeless. Storytelling and listening is a two-way process. There is some evidence from neuroscience which suggests that when I'm telling you a story and you are listening to my story, our brain patterns begin to mirror one another. So our mental faculty becomes mirroring one another. So we have this exchange of neurons, neuropathies, and so we can see we can see the reflection of another person in ourselves. We are connecting, and the empathy is not just an emotional, but also on a physical level. Everyone has stories to tell, but storytelling is a skill that can be developed, and as a tool, it can be used to powerful effect. Developed and used purposefully, storytelling can contribute to inclusion and connection, build confidence, and bring about change. A powerful story, a story, and a storyteller are always unique. The storyteller is sharing their experience of the world for the listener. Lots of things make a story powerful. The way that it's structured, the way that a voice is used, the content of the story. Different things come together, are entwined together, and make a story unique. If people are inspired to use storytelling in their work, I'd recommend working with people who know about storytelling, such as artists, audio producers, and others. They can help you to look at how you can use storytelling in a way that's going to help you meet your aims. Storytelling is an important communications tool for people, for different businesses and individuals. It can capture people's attention, strike a chord with people's minds and hearts, hopefully provoke them to think differently about an issue raised in the story. We use storytelling as a way of encouraging people to delve deeper into the evidence about what works and doesn't work to improve any sphere, any aspect that you are talking about. Storytelling is used in different spheres of our life: animations, films, books, different businesses, different governmental institutions, and others. People are experimenting with different approaches to engaging people with their work. Encouraging people who use storytelling to help share the learning from their improvement work and just attracting their attention to the issue you are talking about. Right. So speaking about making your story great. Just a second, something happened. Oh my God, I have lost. Right. So speaking about the story, that's going to make storytelling is one of the marketing world's new darlings, and its marketing strategy, okay, good. It's a marketing strategy that has made its way into everywhere from boardrooms to mums, pop stores. It's even being hailed as the single most powerful business skill for the next decade. Unfortunately, storytelling as applied to business can seem a bit lofty, more like a concept than a tactic. That's especially true if you are not a Fortune 500 company with the multi-million-dollar budget for television commercials. So, does the storytelling makes an impact on small businesses, and can it be practical? It's actually the oldest way to deliver a message or to explain the world. Ancient peoples use storytelling. The Bible uses storytelling. Your uncle uses storytelling, and you yourself use storytelling. Even if you don't call it like that. You're already a storyteller, but it's always good to improve your skills. Here, I'm going to present you 7 techniques that will help you to explain yourself and your business better. Even a few tweaks to your story can deliver major results. But just knowing how to be a better storyteller isn't enough. So here's 5 areas that storytelling will be helpful to apply to. It can seem a lofty and magical topic, but it's actually one of the simplest and oldest ways to promote anything. You may find you even like it. First of all, have an enemy and have a hero. Stories need a good guy and a bad guy, also called a hero and an enemy. The enemy can be a thing like a desert or the system, or even a fear within a hero. The arc of the story is how the hero beats the enemy. Questions to ask yourself about this might include, what's the core enemy of my customers or clients? Is it danger, wasted money, unfulfilled dreams, or bad hair, bad appearance, etc.? Use conflict. Conflict is how the friction between the enemy and the hero manifests. Maybe it shows up as the hero deciding to cross the desert, or when you, the business owner, decided to figure out how to defeat a problem. Conflict can describe the obstacles you encountered on your way to success, whether they were problems with your bank or tornado, or if the hero has no struggle, it's a very lame story. Omit any irrelevant details. Omit any detail that doesn't move the story forward or develop the characters. This is about keeping the reader's attention, keeping them at the edge of the seat. If they don't need to know about your red bicycle, don't tell about the red bicycle. If they don't need to know what kind of awesome high-tech sneakers you need to cross this desert, cross your problem, then don't tell about these sneakers. Tell the story like you talk. This one's pretty simple. Compare corporate speak ruined stories. Talk like you would normally talk. If you sound a little too corporate to pass as an average person, hire a storyteller. I remember back in my days when I was recording the videos for the course. Now I also record the videos for the course, but then it was my first time, and I was told that you should speak to the camera, into the camera, like you are speaking with a friend with a glass of beer. It's like, this is your friend. Just speak as you speak, talk as you normally talk. If the reader feels the tension, the video automatically becomes boring, repetitive, tedious, not very interesting to watch. The next, make it visual. There is a reason children's storybooks are mostly pictures, and that so many of the greatest stories ever told have been made into movies. Images bring story to life. You can tell a story just by standing up and talking, but it had better be one hot clutcher of a story, and even then, added images will make it more powerful. Make it personal and easy to relate to. To immediately borrow from the last point, use images of what actually happened, where it happened, when it happened. use images of the real people, of the real places. Added images will not just stock photo models. That will not work. And again, talk like you talk. Show your personality, reveal a bit of your weaknesses and your fears. Because every person has its weaknesses. Every person has the fears too, right? Those people are your ideal audience and your ideal customers or clients. Add surprise. A story with no surprise is boring. You know this already. Because you are already a storyteller, but it bears repeating. Whether it's a good surprise or bad surprise, every good story has to have at least one surprise. This is an essential to a story as a conflict, as a climax of the story. Again, where can you apply storytelling? Here I've mentioned a thumbnail version of how to tell a good story. And now let's have a look at where you can apply these techniques. First of all, is your blog. You can use your blog as a segmented way to tell the long version of your story. Or you can use each blog post as a mini story. For example, you could write a post about your father who was in the same business as you are now, and write the post as a story about something he did. This telling a segment of your extended story. Or you could write a blog post about a client who struggled with something and how they overcame it as a mini story you open a blog post with. Videos. Any story you can think of about you or your business or your industry, your customers, can be made better by creating a video of it. There are a lot of tools that can help you to do it. Advertising hooks. To remind you how powerful storytelling can be as an advertising hook, I've got one question. Can you hear me now? Attracting employees. Whether you are attracting new employees or inspiring existing ones, stories are a fantastic tool. Remember how I said stories are a way to explain the world. How would you explain your companies with your blogs or videos worldview in a story? Right. Now, I would like you to get familiar with 6 rules of great storytelling by Pixar. First of all, great stories are unique, not universal, but they are unique. Great stories have a clear structure. There should be an introduction. There should be the climax. So the climax of the story is the surprise, this plot twist. And there should be a purpose. Why you tell this story, why it will be helpful. Great stories have a character to root for. There should be a hero that you could support, you could feel sympathetic for, empathetic for. And the next rule actually is connected with the previous one. All these stories should appeal to your deepest emotions. It should provoke strong feelings and emotions like sadness, anxiety, what else, happiness, and stuff like that. So it should provoke emotions. Great stories are surprising and unexpected. There should be at least one surprise and one plot twist. They should be simple and they should have a clear focus of the discussion. Let's have a look at the structure of the story. Structure and elements. Elements and the rule of 4 whys: who, what, when, and where. Don't forget about. Provide images. Provide any images and any realm. The parts of the story and the structure. There should be a problem that you have to sort out throughout your story. Again, there should be a journey of solving the problem, and again, solution. So there should be ending. It's not obligatory to have a happy ending, but there should be somewhat endings, some ending, whether you solve the problem or not. Right, and practice, we don't have practice. So let's have a look at the example of a TED Talk that was transformed into the book, because it was practically the ideal and perfect explanation of how you should make your story clear and correct. Just let me again here.
In 2009, a man, a journalist, by the name Rob Walker, wanted to find out, is storytelling really the most powerful tool of all? And in order to do this, he went on his computer and he bought 200 objects from eBay. And the average price of the objects were about $1. He then called 200 authors and he asked them, hey, would you like to be part of the significant object study? Which means that I would like to write a story to one of the objects. And 200 authors said yes. So there he had 200 objects, he had 200 stories, and I assume that it was with nail-biting anticipation that he went on eBay again with all the 200 objects. Would there be a difference? Would there be a change? Do you think there was a change? One of the objects was this beautiful horse's head. There we go. The beautiful horse's head. Now, this beautiful horse's head was bought for 99 cents and was sold when the story was added for $62.95. That is a slight increase of 6,395%. So was this a one-off situation? Not really, because he bought the 200 objects for a total of $129, selling them for $8,000. Now that's insane. But you know what's even more intellectually challenging to understand is, how can you and I go to the movies and pay good money to watch movies like James Bond, who are absolutely unrealistic? And we sit there, we enjoy the movie, and some of us, we really enjoy the movie. And we leave the theater going like, God, what a man. I would like to be more like him. I'd like to walk like him. I'd like to talk like him. I like Bond. Wonder how I could be more like Bond. And then this weird revelation hits you like from nowhere, and you come up with a brilliant idea to walk to a watchmaker shop. And wow, it just happens to be an Omega watch in that shop that resembles the one that Bond was wearing in the movie. And you pay $10,000 to put that watch on your wrist, and you leave that store feeling more like Bond. How is that possible? PQ Media tells us that $10.5 billion is turned over in product placement revenue every single year. How is it possible for you to be so easily tricked by something so simple as a story? Because you are tricked. Well, it all comes down to one core thing, and that is emotional investment. The more emotionally invested you are in anything in your life, the less critical and the less objectively observant you become. And the greatest emotional investment of all is falling in love. Now, falling in love resembles a good story. Do you remember the last time you fell in love? Do you? Good for you. It's a beautiful feeling, isn't it? Do you remember how you longed and how you yearned and how you dreamt? And then you looked at her and maybe you thought, God, I love the way you chew that apple. So crunchy. Oh, and the way you slurp that tea just over the edge, you know? Oh, it's so sexy. Love it. And then about 13 months later, when you biochemically fall in out of love, 13 months later, on an average, you fall out of love. Suddenly you find yourself sitting in the sofa and you go, Jesus Christ, where did this thing come from? Oh my God, and where are my friends? This is a weird thing. And then suddenly you hear a sound. You go like, what's that? You go over to the kitchen and you look and you go like, oh, it's you. You're eating an apple there. Could you just keep that down just a little bit? Yeah, you're kind of spraying the table there. Please don't. And you sit down comfortably again, and just a minute later, you hear somebody drinking tea from the kitchen going, and suddenly, this is all annoying to you. Have you been there? Sadly enough. 30 months later, our critical thinking and our cortex comes home from a 1-year-long vacation, and we start questioning things. Now, during those 30 months, what happened was that your brain was flooded with neurotransmitters and hormones, hijacking your cortex, throwing your objectively observant skills out of the window. And the thing with storytelling is that the same thing can happen. In stories, the same hormones and neurotransmitters can be released. Hormones like vasopressin, oxytocin, serotonin, dopamine, endorphins. And do you know what? That's what I would like to do during my talk. I would like to induce 3 hormones into your brain. I call it the angel's cocktail, so it's a nice cocktail. I would like to start with radically increasing your dopamine levels. And I need your consent on this. Is it okay? Cool. If you don't like the idea of that, you'll just have to cover your ears. So dopamine, this is what it looks like. And when you have that in your blood, these are the beautiful effects. You get more focus, more motivation, and you remember things in a better way. So what does dopamine feel like? It feels like this. About 6 years ago, I received a phone call from a woman who represented one of the biggest training companies in Scandinavia. And she said, hey, David, we've got a lot of trainers in presentation skills and in rhetorics, and we would like to increase the level of all of these. And we think you are a perfect pick. Would you like to come to a meeting? I'm like, wow, I'm honored. I'd love to. And I come up to Stockholm and I'm going to their office. And just as I am going to pull the handle down, what I don't know then is that I'm walking into one of the absolute worst meetings I am ever going to have in my life. But I don't know that yet, so it's okay. I open the door and I meet this woman. Her name is Lena. And hurriedly she says, David, just so you know, I'm not the one you're going to have this meeting with. You're going to have it with 3 gentlemen further on here. And I'm like, okay, that's a bit strange. Usually you know who you're going to have the meeting with. And then she progresses with a bit of chit-chatting. And then suddenly she says, are you ready now? And I'm like, yeah, what should I be ready for? And then she says, just so you know, can you see the room over there? And I go like, yes, I can see it. Well, in that room, you have the 3 gentlemen. Just so you know, they're all majority owners of this company. They've all got an ex-military background, and none of them wants the training that you are going to pitch. I'm like, come on, why am I here? And it's like, well, all the trainers want this, but the management are on too high horses. They can't see that they need it. So it's pretty simple. The only thing you have to do is go in there and kind of, you know, just prove the opposite. I'm like, yeah, that sounds simple, doesn't it? And I can remember myself. I'm walking towards this office. My sweat is coming down my palms. My heart is racing. And just halfway there, she calls my name. And I still, to this day, don't know if this woman is sadomasochistic or just downright unintelligent. Because she calls my name and she goes like, David. And it's like I'm going to get a tip, you know, something like that. So I turn around to ask her, go like, and she says the following. If I don't tell you what she says there, is that annoying? Well, actually, as an example, I'm not going to do that. I just wanted to prove to you what it feels with high dopamine levels. Would you say that your focus was increased? Your attention was increased? You were creative, you created situations around this, and you probably already figured out what that room looked like, correct? And you remember that I did that to you for quite a while. Now, the feeling you had there was high levels of dopamine, which is beautiful. So how do you do that? Well, what you do is you build suspense, you launch a cliffhanger, and the most beautiful thing of all is that all storytelling is per definition dopamine creating, because it's always something that we're waiting and expecting. So just imagine, just by using storytelling, you can get those techniques. You don't have to do a cliffhanger like I did. So that was the first hormone. I'd now like to go to oxytocin. Is that okay as well? I'll induce that.
Okay, you can continue watching this nice just TED Talk speech on storytelling. And now I would like to, just a second, I'm going to re-download the page. That's not working. And I'm going to just let me identify the most active student today. Okay, it's re-downloaded. So first of all, we have, let me share the screen with you. The wheel, the fortune wheel is going to decide. So we have today Carolina, Vlad, Carolina, Vlad, Sophia, and Robert. So let's go. And the wheel will decide who's going to be to get the present. Okay, Robert. Let me check. Robert wrote only hello. I don't think so that Robert can participate. I'm going to delete him. That's not fair. Let's get started from this. Hello. Oh, Vlad. Okay, Vlad. Congratulations. Today you are a hello. But Vlad also, it seems to me it will be fair to present the prize to Carolina, because she wrote everything according to the topic, not just about the plants and not just hello. That's why I think that it will be fair to present the present to Carolina. Congratulations, thanks a lot. Have a nice summer, end of summer, and have a nice, productive academic year.